Good day, ma'am. This is Vincent G. Araraca from 3G2 BS Criminology. This video presentation will talk about the historical background of land transportation. First, what is land transportation? When we say land transportation, it is the transport or movement of people, animals, or goods from one location to another location on the land. There are two main forms of land transportation. First is the rail transportation, and the second one is the road transportation. So when we say land transportation, it is the concept on how people travel from one place to another in the area of land. The first form of land transportation was, of course, walking. Then the second is animal, carts, wagon and carriage, the bicycle, the steam engine and the train, and the motor car. So when we say walking, it is the first means of transportation. According to the history, walking is the oldest form of transportation. Our ancestors utilized their bare foot to travel from one place to another for the purpose of food and shelter. Walking is the first means of transportation during prehistoric time. Then the next is animal transportation. Pack animal, any domesticated animal that is used to carry goods or supplies. The ass or the donkey is the oldest known pack animal, having been used possibly as early 3500 BC. In many places in the world, the use of pack animals is the only feasible means of transportation of load. So, in 3500 BC, our ancestors improved intellectually. They gained knowledge through experience, so they come up in an idea of using animals in transportation, especially in carrying goods and supplies. Then the next is the invention of wheels and sled. The wheels was invented. The first wheel was simply solid disc carved from one lump of wood. The wheels changed the way that the people travel and transported things. Before the wheels was invented, the amount of things could transport over distance were limited. Then it means that the invention of wheels changed the life of human, especially in the means of transportation. Through this invention, people can carry a large number of goods and supplies from long distant places. The invention of wheels and sled. The oldest wheel was the archaeologists have found from Mesopotamia, an ancient civilization in the Middle East. It is probably more 5,000 years old. The wheel is one of the most important invention ever made. It has helped people to travel faster and further than impossible on foot. It has also made it possible to wheels. Some are drawn by animals like wagons and carriage, and others are drawn by people like rickshaw cycle. Have also wheels, whether it is one of the two or more since end of the 19th century. Motor cars and wheels have transformed into human travel. Then the wheels of Mesopotamia. The wheel was invented in 14th century BC in lower Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq, where the Sumerian people inserted rotating discs into solid wood. It was the only 2000 BC that the disc began to hollowed out to make a lighter wheel. This innovation led the major advance in the area of transportation. So it means that the invention of wheels totally changed the life of the human in terms of transportation. Sled transportation. So when we say sled, it is a sled or any freight or passenger carrying device that is dragged or pushed without the aid of wheels. Without the aid of wheels, meaning to say, is the sled is composed of wooden stop. The travis of the North American Indian was a sled consisting two traversely connected wooden stop dragged as an angle to the ground. Sled date back is antiquity. Assyrian and Egyptian reliefs depict the huge statues pulled by sled. The arrival of the wheel ended the use of sled, but not in the area of ice and snow surface. So, when we say sled, it is a sliding object created in order to carry goods and passengers without the means of wheels. Sled is composed of two traversely wooden stop. This part is utilized in sliding propulsion. Sled is connected in a beast-style animal. When we say beast-style animal, it is the horse, group of horse, or bull. The arrival of wheels ended the use of sled, except in the area of snow and ice surface. So this image is the sled. Then the next one is the invention of carts, wagon, and carriage. Before people started to use wagon and carts, they would put a big logs under the goods. They wanted to move it and roll the log along the ground. But that was still a lot of work, probably not so easy, so they invented a small vehicle with 2 or 4 wheels, which could be pulled by people and animals. So when we say carts, it is a carrier which include 2 wheels pulled by animal. Then the next is wagons. The first kinds of wheel vehicle were carts, 2 wheels, and the wagon is composed of 4 wheels. They were drawn by animal like the carts, like donkey, horses, and ox. The first type of wagon and carts are found in the Central Asia, and it is Tigris-Euphrates Valley in the Middle East about 5,000 years ago. Later, they were also used to create Egyptian Turkey, Russia, and China. Wagons and carts have been described before as the boxes of wheel. So they are described as the boxes of wheel. They could use to carry a lot of goods over long distances and to transport people. About 4,000 years ago, people began to cover their wagons with leather or cloth. This protected the riders from the sun and the rain. So, as we understand this passage, we conclude that there is an innovation through time. Then the next is, so when we say wagon, it is a 4-wheel vehicle. Compared to carts, it is more reliable based on the structure and capacity. It is also pulled by beast-style animal. Then the next is carriage. A carriage is a closed horse-drawn vehicle with 4 wheels used to transport people. Both carriage and wagon are developed from the sled. So meaning to say, the idea of wagons, carriage, and carts came from the sled, which is probably the first vehicle was invented in prehistoric times. The sled was used in the ancient Egypt to transport building materials in the creation of pyramid, such as heavy stone. Today, sleds are known to the high-speed transportation on the snow and ice surface. So when we say carriage, it is also a 4-wheel vehicle, but in terms of structure, it is more durable compared to wagons. So this two-wheel vehicle is considered as carts. Then the next is wagon, and the last is carriage. Then let's go to bicycle. The first bicycle was developed between 1790 and 1817. It was a bit different from today's cycle. The pedals are connected to the back of the wheel with a chain as the rider pedals. The wheels turned to the first bicycle did not have pedals, and the rider had to steer it by pushing his feet along the ground. So it is described this passage describe what is the idea of the first bicycle invented. A German named Karl von Bryce made the first major development when he created a steerable two-wheel contraption in 1817, known by many names including the velocipede or the hobby horse and running machine. This early invention made Bryce widely acknowledged as the father of bicycle. So Karl von Bryce is considered as the father of bicycle from his idea. But the bicycle as we know today evolved into 19th century thanks to the work of several different inventors. German Karl von Bryce was the pioneer creator of bicycle. He developed a steerable two-wheel contraption in 1817. It is also known as velocipede or hobby horse. Karl von Bryce is considered as the father of bicycle. Bryce's velocipede only enjoyed a brief stint in the spotlight before falling out of fashion. Poet John Keats derived it as the nothing of today. His early version continued to improve upon across Europe. In the beginning of 1860, several French inventors including Pierre Lallemand, Pierre Max Clos, and Ernest developed the prototype with pedals attached to the front of the wheels. These were the first machine to be called bicycle, but they also known as the bone shakers for their rough ride. So, in the beginning of 1860, different French inventors innovate the old model of the bicycle to develop a prototype with pedals. So this picture is the first bicycle created by Karl von Bryce. It is called velocipede or hobby horse. Then let's go to the present day bicycle. The design of the present day bicycle was renamed much the same since John Kip Starley designed the Robert Safety bicycle, the first embodiment of the modern vehicle. So it means that John Kip Starley designed the modern day bicycle. The steam engine and the train. In 1698, Thomas Severly patented a pump with a hand operated valves to raise water from the mines by suction produced by condensing steam. In about 1712, another English, Thomas Newcomer, developed a more efficient steam engine with a piston separating condensing steam from the water. So it means that Thomas Severly and Thomas Newcomen invented a machine that is called engine that is utilized through the steam of water. The steam engine and the train. In 17th century England, Thomas Newcomen's atmospheric engine became the first commercial successful engine using the principle of piston and cylinder, which was the fundamental of steam engine that is used until early 20th century. that is used until earliest century. Then until the early 20th century, the steam engine was used to pump water out of the coal of mines. This was the main engine of the train that will utilize the moving proportion. Then the next is the first automobile car between 1885 and 1886. The first automobile car was called stationary gasoline engine, developed by Carl Benz. Was a cylinder two-stroke unit which ran for the first time on New Year's Eve in 1879. Benz had so much commercial success in his engine that he was able to devote more time to his dream of creating a lightweight car powered by gasoline engine, in which the engine formed a single unit. Then the next is double pivot steering contra engine planetary gear transmission, 1891 to 1897. This was the innovation of the first automobile car. It was Carl Benz who had the double pivot steering system, patented in 1893, thereby by solving one of the most urgent problem of automobile. The first Benz was with a steering system that was built in 1893, which slightly larger numbers with the different bodies were built. The world's first production car with some 1,200 units built was the Benz Velo of 1894, a lightweight, durable, and inexpensive compact car. Then, and another about double pivot steering contra engine planetary gear transmission. It was developed of the twin engine consisting of two horizontal single cylinder unit in parallel. However, this proved the unsatisfactory. It was immediately followed by a better design, the contra engine. It was the cylinder were arranged opposite each other. This was the birth of horizontal opposed piston. The engine always installed at the rear by the Benz until 1990. This unit generated up to 16 or 12 kW in various versions. Then the final innovation is what we call the modern car. So when we say modern car, cars have control for driving, parking, passenger comfort, and a variety of lights. Over the decades, additional features and controls have been added to the vehicle, making them processibly more complex but also more reliable. It means the modern car is the innovation of what we have tackled from the beginning, starting to the carts, wagon, carriage, steam engine and train, bicycle, up to modern car. So that's all. Thank you.